Hey y'all, Kingdom Talks with Cameron here. So I'm just sitting, y'all, and I was reading a book called The Little Book of Common Sense, and I just got revelation from that book. Your mind does not like change. Your mind does not like for you to read new stuff. Your mind does not like for you to get information or change or grow. When you get new information, when you get new knowledge, when you begin to grow, the old you will try to come up. The old way you used to think will try to come up. The old pattern that you have been creating over the years will come up. You have to channel your thinking. You have to change the way you think. Romans 12:2 says, "Do not conform to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, so that you may prove that what is the good and acceptable and perfect will of God." When you start getting new knowledge, when you start to change, when you start to read new books, when you start to grow, the old you will try to come back, because the old you do not like change. That's that old mindset. That mindset does not like to change. The mind likes to stay the same. And when you begin to put new information in your mind through repetition, the old you will try to shut it down. But you got to shut the old you down with the scriptures every day. You got to get in the word every day to shut the old you down with the scriptures. So I'm reading a book and I noticed, I said, my mind does not like change. My mind does not like new information. The old me. The old me wouldn't read a book. The old me wouldn't get on a podcast. The old me wouldn't get on YouTube videos and bring my gifts to the marketplace. The old me wouldn't do that. But see, the old me tried to shut the new me down. And when you are changing and growing and get new information, when you are beginning to be around different people, when you are beginning to change your environment, the old you will be like, "No, we're not gonna do that. That's unfamiliar. I'm not doing that. I'm gonna do what I'm used to doing." And we can't let ourselves think like that. We have to, every time, we have to shut our old mind down with new information. Getting in courses, online courses, getting in online seminars. I'm in this seminar right now called Impact Society by the creator is Anthony O'Neill, and I'm in his academy right now. I'm in just different knowledge that I'm learning right now. I'm just learning different knowledge. And I notice my mind does not like for me to learn new information. So what I have to do is trick my mind to learn new information. I have to already trick my mind like I've learned that information before. And when you do that, you begin to grow. So I'm just sitting here and God gave me revelation on that. He said, change your mindset. And so I'm changing my mindset, but the old me try to come up, but I have to also kind of shut that down all the way and be like, no, we finna read this book. We finna get on this course and we finna get in this class. We finna sit here until we get in this class and get on this course until we get done. We finna sit here until we get this knowledge. Your mind does not like to change, but you have to change in order to grow. You have to get new information in order to tear down your old mindset. So I just ordered a new book called Baby Step Millionaires. And I'm excited for that book to come because that's a new book I have not read yet. And so the books that I have, I'm reading them over and over again, but I'm also adding new books to the collection because I'm like, my mind has to grow. My mind has to change. My mind has to develop in a way for that new me to exist, for that new person to manifest itself into the physical. So I'm working on my mindset. I'm growing, I'm changing, and I'm developing myself so that the old me can die, so that the old me can fade away, So when I'm developing, I'm changing, I'm getting new information. On these courses. I'm on, these videos on YouTube, and I'm researching, and I'm changing, and I'm developing myself. My old mindset does not like that. So my old mindset will try to block it. Like a computer pop-up. When a computer pop-up, it sometimes it pop up as a block. And then you have to unblock that website so you can get to it. It's the same way with your mind. Your mind is a big computer, and your mind sometimes have pop-ups. Like when you begin to change and when you begin to grow, your mind has a pop-up and be like, nah, I want to block that. But you have to unblock that in order for you to change. You have to unblock that in order for you to grow. You have to stay allow on your mind. Allow for new information. Allow to change. Allow to grow. What person do you want to become? What person are you becoming by getting new information? What person are you becoming by changing the way you think? And it doesn't happen overnight. It's a process. It's a process that it's going to take the rest of your life. I heard somebody say that one time. They said it's a process. You have to relearn all the stuff in the word. You have to relearn, and it's a process that you are going through. So when you're going through the process, you have to have a mindset of learning. You have to live a life of learning. I heard somebody say that one time, and so when they said that, it resonated with me. Like, yeah, you have to adopt a mindset of learning for the rest of your life. Whether it's a podcast you're listening to, a YouTube video, a book you're reading, going to a seminar, going to a conference, get new information. It's the mother of skill. That's how you change, and that's how you grow. So I'm going through a process right now where my mind doesn't like me getting new information. It's unfamiliar to my mind to read a book about the stock market. It's unfamiliar for my mind to read books about finance. It's unfamiliar for my mind to read books about scientists and read books about politics and in the world. It's unfamiliar. But I'm getting that new knowledge because I see a new life. I see a new pattern for myself. I see a life of learning, a lifetime of growth, a lifetime of becoming the man that God has called me to be. It is not an overnight thing, y'all. It is a lifetime of learning. So as I'm learning, as I'm growing, as I'm getting new knowledge, as I'm developing myself, as I'm changing, I'm going to begin to change on the outside, but it has to start on the inside first. So what does that mean? That means it has to start with you getting that information. And then you have to also apply that information to your life. So as I read the Bible and get revelation, as I read new books and get revelation from books, as I read and get on these courses and develop myself, I'm changing on the inside. It may not manifest itself on the outside yet, but it's manifesting itself on the inside. So that old mindset will always pop up. But the thing is, you have to shut that old pattern down. You have to shut that old mindset down. It is a pattern of how you lived your life before. But you have to say, no, we ain't living our life like that no more. We're going to get up and do something different. We're going to get up and change the way we think. We're going to get up and shut our old mindset down so that we can have a new life for ourselves. It is a lifetime of discipline, learning, and development. And I'm sitting here learning that as I'm reading these books, as I'm taking this course in this Impact Academy, as I'm learning new information. I'm sitting here learning new information. My old mind is saying, no, we don't do that. We do this over here. My new mind is saying, get up and learn. Get up and read a book. Get up and talk about this. Talk about that. Read this Bible. Read this verse. Read that. The old mind gonna say, nah, you ain't got to read the Bible today. No, you ain't got to read that book today. No, you ain't got to go for a walk today. No, you ain't got to get up and do this today. You ain't got to do that. Just sit here, lay in the bed, and do what you used to do. Eat them Cheetos, eat them Reese's Cups, watch this Netflix video. You ain't got to do that today. But see, my mind, the new mind, want to change. See, the new mind want to get the knowledge. The new mind want to stop watching TV for a season. The new mind want to get on these courses. The new mind want to read these different books, want to read the Bible. The new mind. But the old mind gonna say no. And it's who you listen to. Which one are you listening to? Are you listening to the new mind? Or are you listening to the old mind? Which one are you listening to? And I am learning and growing and changing and developing. And as I develop myself, I ask myself, what man do you want to become? What man do you want to become in God? What person are you becoming? Discipline are you becoming? What person are you becoming today? So that's what I ask myself every time I get new knowledge. Okay, what is this teaching me, and what person am I becoming? When I get on this course, what person am I becoming? What do I take away from this course? What do I take away from the Bible? How am I developing? How am I learning? How am I changing my mindset? Am I acting like the old me? Or am I acting like the new me that wants to become the person that is healthy, that is wealthy, that is healed? What kind of friends do I have around me? Do I have people around me that's going to take from me? Do I have people around me that's going to benefit from me just being there? Or do I have people around me that's going to change me, that's going to grow me, that's going to stretch my mind, that's going to develop with me, and that's going to change the way they think with me? Do I have people that challenge me? Who is around me? Who is developing themselves around me? That's the questions that I ask myself. Who is around me? Who do I need to get away from me that's not growing with me? And then who do I need to have around me that's on the same pattern as me as I develop? What person do I need to become? Who do I need to be around in order for me to become this new person? How is my mindset changing? The stuff I used to do, okay, we don't do that no more. We over here getting knowledge. We over here developing. But who are you becoming? What person is it making you for today? And is it bettering your life because you're becoming this new person over time? It's not an overnight thing. It's an overtime process. You're going to learn the rest of your life. So you have to relearn everything that you was taught in the world. You have to relearn everything that you was taught by society. Whether it's finances, whether it's developing yourself, whatever it is in the area, you have to relearn it and learn it the correct way. And when you relearn it the correct way, you'll be like, I was doing this wrong the whole time. And I didn't know I was doing it wrong. That's because your subconscious mind doesn't know the difference between real, fake. It don't know the difference. It don't know the difference between what you putting in it. So as I'm putting knowledge into my subconscious mind, it's changing on the inside, but it hadn't quite manifested on the outside yet. But who are you becoming today? What are you doing to become the person 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 6 years from now? What are you doing today to better your life for the next day? What are you doing today to better your life for the future? How are you acting? How does that person act? How does that person walk? How does that person think? How does that new person smile? How does that new person dress? How does that new person live? How does that new person become the person that is wealthy, that is blessed, that has friends around him or her that support him or her, that has family around him and her that love them? How is that new person thinking and growing and developing and stretching their mindset? Do they have people around them that's going to be like, okay, maybe you should do this, or maybe you should do that? Do you have people around you that bounce ideas off of? You can bounce an idea off of them and they can bounce an idea off of you. And then y'all can come up with an idea together that both benefit y'all. How are y'all thinking? How are y'all developing? How are y'all changing? How are y'all growing? What person are you becoming? How are you as a brother? How are you as a sister? How are you as an auntie? How are you as an uncle? How are you as a friend? How are you as a son? How are you as a sister? How are you as a daughter? How are you? What new person are you becoming? How are you changing your mindset that's going to benefit not only you in the future, not only the people around you, but it's going to benefit you in generations to come. When you're no longer here, it's going to benefit you. People are going to talk about you when you're no longer here, and it's going to benefit your sons. It's going to benefit your daughters. It's going to benefit your grandkids. It's going to benefit your great grandkids. It's going to benefit generations to come behind you. How are you developing yourself? Your mind does not like to change. But when you tell your mind, sit down, I'm finna read this book for an hour, I'm finna read the Bible for an hour and 30 minutes, how are you becoming the person that people are going to talk about for the rest of your life when you're no longer here, that your grandkids are going to talk about? How are you becoming? And so when I think about my life now, this is just for me. When I think about my life now and I think about how am I becoming, how am I developing myself, how am I changing my mindset, even for my kids that's not here yet, even for my grandkids that's not here yet, even for my wife that's not here yet, I'm like, I got a lot of work to do. I got a lot of developing to do. I got a lot of changing my old mindset of how I used to think. I still got a lot more developing to do because I want them to have the best version of me. And when I think about the version of me that I want them to have, it is worth fighting for. It is worth changing my mindset for. It is worth developing for. It is worth everything for me to do it. I have to start doing it now. And I'm continuing to do it now because I continue to read different books. I continue to get on master classes. I continue to get in groups, masterminds. I continue to develop myself. I continue to get on YouTube videos and learn more and more about different topics that I don't know about. And when I think about the person that I'm becoming, he's wealthy. He's blessed. He's leaving an inheritance for his children's children. He's opening up businesses. He's smiling. He's happy. He's not mad. He's not angry. He's not depressed. He's not worried about how he gonna do this and how he gonna do that. But he has an abundance mindset. He has a mindset of abundance, overflow, good measure, pressed down, shaking, running together, and running over. So when I think about that version of him, I get sad sometimes because I'm still becoming him, and I'm going to become him for the rest of my life. And it's the same with you when you're a woman. Apply this to your life. If you're a woman or a man, listening to this, apply this to your life because you still becoming the person that God has called you to be. You're still becoming the person that God has created you to be. When you was in your mother's womb, you still becoming. And it's a lifetime of change. It's a lifestyle of learning. You still becoming. When I think about my family, I think about my mom. I think about my stepdad. I think about my sisters, my brothers. They're still becoming the person that God has called them to be. It doesn't matter about how old you are. You're still going to become You're still gonna change. You're still gonna grow. You're still gonna be the person that God has created you to be. And it's a lifetime of learning. It's a lifetime of discipline. It's a lifetime of developing. It's a lifetime. And when I think about that, I think about, okay, my kids that are not here yet. I think a lot about my kids that are not here yet. I think a lot about my legacy. I think a lot about my wife that's not here yet. I think a lot about my family, how developing myself is going to change the trajectory of my family, of my generation, and generations that come behind me. I think about that. I think about my niece and nephew. When I think about legacy, I think about how developing and changing I become as a man, how I'm developing and changing, how it affects them, how it's going to affect them. And when I think about that, it is worth developing. It is worth changing. It is worth putting down them old habits. It is worth doing everything that I have to do in order to grow, in order to become, in order to develop, in order to change, in order to do the things that I know my future self is already doing, in order to really have a life worth living and live a life that's worth living. It's developing, it's changing, it's growing over time, developing over time, changing over time, because your mind doesn't pick up a new habit right away. You have to continue to do it over and over and over and over and over again until one day your mind get it and your mind say, I got it. Now I'm really putting down that old person. When that old person come up, nope, we ain't doing that. We're doing this over here, because you've developed over time and you changed over time and you grew over time and you developed over time. New knowledge, new information, new concepts of life. Repetition is the mother of skill, y'all. And so as you grow and change, apply this to your life. In any area of your life. Could be finances, could be relationships, could be marriages, could be divorces, could be kids going crazy, whatever. Apply this to your life. How do you want your kids to be? How do you want your kids to be? Are you raising kingdom kids? Are you raising kids that are kingdom? Apply this to your life. For y'all that have kids and things like that, y'all can apply this to your kids. You can say, no, my kids, they don't act like that. My kids, they don't sound like that. They don't talk like that. They don't walk like that. What are their gifts? What are they talents? God, what did you put in my kids? Show me what you put in my kids and developed in my kids so that I could take it to the marketplace. So that I could show them how to open a business. So that I could show them how to develop themselves at a young age. So that I could show them, what did you put in them? God, what did you have for them to do? How are you changing? How are you growing as a person? How are you developing? How are you acting? How does that new person act? That's what I ask myself a lot. How does that new person act? How does that new man act? How does that new man walk? How does that new man talk? How does that new man dress? Take off the old man and put on the new man. Take off the old woman and put on the new woman. Pray for your kids. If they ain't what God has told you or showed you that they have not yet become, pray for them until they become. Pray for them until they become the person that God has called them to be, because it's a lifetime of learning. It's a lifetime of discipline. Pray for your kids. Pray for them that they become everything that God has called them to be. And start developing, start changing, start growing, start getting new information. Start talking to different people. How does that new man talk? How does that new man walk? How does that new man think? How does that new woman think? How does that new woman talk? How does that new woman act? Become. It's a lifetime of learning, y'all. It's a lifetime of discipline, learning, and growing. You're going to become until you're no longer here anymore. You're going to become for the rest of your life. So in you becoming and changing and growing, people going to begin to say, that ain't the same man. People going to begin to say, that ain't the same woman. It's something different about him. It's something different about her. That ain't the same person that I knew when I was younger. That ain't the same person that I knew when we was coming up. How is she changing? How is she growing? How is he growing? How is he changing? How is he developing? What does that new person see for themselves? That's what I want to know. Honestly, what does that new person see for themselves? Write it down. Write down a new person. And when I get off of here, I'm going to get me a piece of paper and I'm going to write down a new person. How does he act? How does he become? So apply this to every area of your life. Because when I get off of here, I'm going to do it. I'm going to apply it to my life. For y'all that don't watch me on YouTube, y'all follow me on YouTube at The Kingdom Life of Cameron. Follow me on TikTok at The Kingdom Life of Cameron. Follow me on Facebook at The Kingdom Life of Cameron. Follow me on Instagram at The Kingdom Life of Cameron. I will be posting this on my YouTube channel for y'all that are on my YouTube channel. I will be posting this podcast on my YouTube channel. For y'all that are on Spotify, I will be posting a link to my YouTube channel in the Spotify notes, so y'all can click and go right over to my YouTube channel and interact with me over there on YouTube, because we're growing, we're developing, we're changing, we are becoming the person that God has called us to be, and it's a lifetime of learning. It's a lifetime of developing. Y'all stay blessed and have a good day, and I'll see y'all later on.